Hello, welcome back to my channel. I have got a really good and fun tutorial for you guys today. So this is my friend Kate. She's been my client for years and years on and off, and we're doing her hair again. It's been a while since I have done it, and she just recently had another baby and she is needing a little refresh. So as you can see, she's got some grow out and she's got a lot of golden faded blonde tones throughout as well. So she is wanting to brighten up today and go a lot lighter, but keep it shadowed and low maintenance because she is a mom of two now, and she usually does like 2 rows of extensions, but her hair's gotten a little longer, so we're actually just going to do the color and then maybe a few tapes in the front to fill in, but she's going to try to take a break from extensions, so that'll be fun. So I am starting here around the hairline. What I like to do for clients like this who want a bright impact is I always start right above the ear on an angle with their hairline and their growth pattern. And I am going to start with just small baby lights, back to back to back, minimal subsections, very fine, thin sections. And we are using Schwarzkopf Blonde Me with 20 volume. And I'm just doing this back to back following the curvature of the head. So you will just kind of see me repeating this before we get into a little bit of a thicker stitching pattern. All right, so now that I'm kind of in the interior of this section and already done with the hairline, I am going to start transitioning into a little bit of a thicker stitching pattern. Keep in mind that my sections are always pretty thin. I don't want to necessarily pick up like thicker sections and have it be harder to saturate through, but the pattern itself is thicker, if that makes sense. It's not necessarily a baby light, which can look like more of a slice. This definitely has more definition within the stitching pattern I'm doing. So you're taking the same amount of hair, but you can see right here, I just have more definition in the process of what I'm weaving. So I am just starting that pattern as I continue up. This is going to give us a pop and still leave dimension to keep her low maintenance, but still brighten her up quite a bit. So I have one of my co-stylists, Annie, working in the back, and she is just doing the same thing I'm doing. She started off a little tighter with baby lights around the hairline, and now she's transitioning into a bit of a thicker stitching pattern, and then she's just working her way up the head. And I just told her to do a brick lay pattern where you do 2 or 3 foils in the center of the head, 2 or 3 on the left, 2 or 3 on the right, which you can kind of see here. That's the pattern she's been following, and she's just going to continue that up until she gets to the top of the head where the sections get a little more narrow, and then she can just finish everything in the center. All right, so I'm kind of wanting to refresh these golden ends that are left out because she wants to be brighter. So what we are doing here is we're taking all of the dropouts in small sections at a time. I back combed, and now I am actually using the Blonde Me clay lightener with 20 volume, and we're painting that on and then letting it sit open air. You guys have probably seen some of my videos where I tip out the ends by doing a similar pattern to this and then doing lightener in a foil. That's if I really want to break through old color or, anything like that on the mids to ends that are left out of foils. But for her, I still want to keep dimension within this because she wants low maintenance, but she still wants to be a lot blonder and brighter. So this is just like a better way to do it in this sense because I can give her brighter pieces, but it's going to work a little slower since it's clay lightener, and it's basically just going to kind of bump it a little bit and pop that cuticle open so that we can tone those brassy tones. All right, so the hairline on a blonde should always be very detailed. So I'm going to show you guys step by step what I did here. So her hairline kind of curves around and comes to a point, and it's a little bit wider. So I'm going to be working left to right and then back in the center to cover all the areas. So the first thing I'm doing is a foil here on the left, and I'm just doing a little baby light, kind of like I did around the hairline. And I am just going to saturate that really well, feather it down as needed. And then I'm going to switch over and do the same thing on the right to make this a conducive foiled look around the entire hairline right here. So right here, doing the same thing, and you can see that my section is really tiny. Like, I'm just wanting to be very meticulous about this because I want it to be very bright and stand out, but I like to do a baby light first because I feel like it's not as harsh as a straight slice would be when it grows out. I will do a couple slices in a minute, but I just like to start with a baby light first. I feel like it just gives me a softer appearance while keeping it bright. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking one little section in the center and I'm going to do the same thing where I do a baby light, and that's just going to build out that front hairline for me, a left, a right, and a center, instead of just doing one center highlight that may not cover everything. So that's what I'm doing here, and then we're going to transition from here and add some slices. So if I do a baby light right in the front, it's going to give me that really soft but bright look in the front, and then doing a slice right behind it is going to give us that high impact blonde without it being too harsh when it grows out. So this is one of my favorite tricks in the hairline. So now I'm going to do that same exact thing, a left, a right, and a center, but now I'm slicing it with a really fine section before I transition back into baby lights. After I do those slices, I do a few baby lights just to continue that money piece look with the tighter foils. And then as I work my way back into this section that I carved out for the money piece, I gradually start to get a little bit thicker. It's the same idea of what we just did on the sides, starting with baby lights and then spacing it out a little bit thicker to help it blend with the interior of the hair. So that's what I'm doing in this entire money piece section. And then with the dropouts, I'm going to do something similar to what I did with the clay lightener, but I'm going to use regular lightener and do a tipped out end like I've done in previous videos. So I'm taking all of those dropouts, I'm back combing, and then I am going to just paint lightener on in a foil to saturate all of those dropouts, because this can ruin a money piece if you really want a bright look. If you do all these amazing foils and then the dropouts are still gold, your client will still see that, especially right in the front, because that's where they notice their color the very most. And this is going to give me a little bit of a brighter pop because it's incubated in a foil with lightener rather than the other dropouts being with clay lightener. So that front will just be a little bit brighter than everything else, which I always love the look of. All right, so she's all foiled. We're just finishing up doing all of those dropouts with the clay lightener, and this is what she looks like as we are done. We let her sit about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the area. We did pull some of her front foils first, and now we are heading to the bowl, and we are going to be doing a root shadow. I'm going to put the formulas up here on the screen, and we also did an end toner. So we did a root shadow of Goldwell Colorant 7N7NA. We just did this with the processing lotion, and we're taking it down about 1.5 inches to give her a low maintenance natural look, but you do see here that she lifted pretty well, so she'll still be pretty bright blonde. And then we did that toner of 9P, 9NB, 8GI to give us the ideal buttery bright blonde. So this is the final result. You guys can see the color, and now we are adding in extensions, and we did decide just to do 3 tape-ins on either side. This could be such a game changer for anyone who feels like they may have some breakage in the front or just hormonal hair loss, postpartum hair loss. She's going through that right now. And blondes just naturally have finer, more fragile hair in the front, so this just fills it in and makes it that much better. So we're using tape-ins in the color The Freddy Cream Puff from JC Styles Co. And we're just adding the 3 on either side, clamping them with the Seal the Deal tool, which makes a huge difference in how they stay. And then I'm just trimming those up to match everything else, adding some layers in the front. And then she also wanted curtain bangs, which is so fun. So we did cut some curtain bangs on her, and then we styled her up with some beachy waves, and it looked amazing. So I hope you guys like the way this turned out, and I hope you learned a little bit of something that you didn't know before. So let me know if you liked this tutorial, and if you want more like this one, or if you want something else, I would love to do it for you guys. Thank you again so much for watching, and have an amazing day.